Welcome back to Travora. What if I told you that Americans are calling Malaysia the most welcoming country on earth, and it's not just about smiles or cheap hotels? Some visitors have been invited into strangers' homes, given free meals, and even treated like family, before they've said a single word. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll hear the stories that have left Americans speechless, and maybe you'll want to book a ticket yourself. When Americans talk about hospitality, they often think of southern charm, free refills, or friendly neighbors. But many who come to Malaysia quickly realize it's on a completely different level. And here's the thing, this isn't just my opinion. Over the past few years, travel vloggers, journalists, and everyday tourists from the US have been sharing their jaw-dropping encounters online. Quick question before we dive in. If you've ever been somewhere that completely changed your expectations about kindness, type the name of that country in the comments. I want to see how it compares to Malaysia. In 2024, an American backpacker named Emily posted a TikTok that went viral. She was lost in the winding streets of Georgetown, trying to find her guest house. A local shopkeeper not only gave her directions, he actually closed his shop for 15 minutes to walk her there. Emily said, "I kept thinking, in New York, no one would even stop to make eye contact, let alone leave their store unattended just to help me." That one clip racked up over 2 million views, and the comments were flooded with similar stories from other tourists. Malaysia's hospitality is built on something called Tetamu Datang Membawa Rezeki, meaning a guest brings blessings. It's not just a saying. It's a belief deeply woven into the culture. To Malaysians, helping a visitor isn't a chore, it's an honor. And here's the kicker. This warmth crosses cultural and language lines. Whether you're dealing with Malay, Chinese, Indian, or indigenous communities, that open-hearted welcome is everywhere. An American couple on a road trip through Malacca stopped at a roadside stall for coconut water. The vendor casually asked what brought them to Malaysia. 5 minutes later, he was calling his cousin to invite them to a family wedding happening that evening. They went thinking they'd just drop by and ended up staying 5 hours, eating home-cooked dishes, dancing, and taking photos with strangers who felt like lifelong friends. Hospitality also feels stronger when you feel safe. According to recent expat surveys, Malaysia consistently ranks as one of the safest countries in Asia. Americans often say they're surprised at how comfortable they feel walking alone at night in cities like Kuala Lumpur or Kuching. That safety creates the perfect environment for relaxed, genuine interactions. A YouTuber named Chris was filming a street food episode at Jalan Alor. He ordered satay, and when the vendor learned it was his first time in Malaysia, she refused to take his money. She said, "Welcome to my country. First taste is free." Chris described it as a $2 meal that felt like a $1 million gesture. That clip alone gained 400,000 likes. In the US, kindness exists, but it's often conditional or transactional. In Malaysia, it feels unconditional. There's no "what's in it for me?" just an instinct to make guests feel like they belong. And because Malaysia is relatively affordable, Americans feel less like outsiders spending big and more like part of the local rhythm of life. When you combine cultural values, multilingual ease, safety, food culture, and a sincere interest in visitors' happiness, you get something powerful, an emotional travel experience. That's why so many Americans leave Malaysia not just with souvenirs, but with stories they tell for the rest of their lives. So here's my question for you: if you've been to Malaysia, what's the most generous or unexpected act of kindness you've experienced? Drop it in the comments. I might feature it in a future video. And if you haven't been yet, maybe it's time to see for yourself why Americans are calling Malaysia the most hospitable country on earth. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, hit the like button so more people can hear about Malaysia's incredible hospitality. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.